If you're a business owner using YouTube to get clients, the algorithm changing in 2026 is actually good news for you. But almost nobody is talking about this because right now creators are panicking. Long form views are dropping, and everyone's blaming AI, shorts, and the algorithm being broken. But the truth is, YouTube did not stop working. It just stopped rewarding surface level attention like it used to. And that shift quietly favors niche business channels that solve real problems for a specific audience. If you're new here, I'm Pat, co founder of Growth Lens, where we help businesses use YouTube as a client acquisition platform. And in this video, I'm going to break down the 8 algorithm shifts that explain what's actually happening on YouTube, why broad creator tactics are failing, and how niche business channels can win in 2026 without posting more or chasing trends. But before that, you need to understand how the YouTube algorithm now decides who to show your video to, because it might seem counterintuitive. So, every time you publish a video, YouTube doesn't push it to everyone. It starts by testing that video with a small, very specific group of people. If that first group clicks, watches, and stays engaged, YouTube then expands distribution and shows it to more people like them. If they don't click, or if they click and leave quickly, the system assumes the video missed the mark and momentum stops. Now, at this point, a question comes to mind. What if YouTube tests your video in front of the wrong people? And that concern is very fair, because if the algorithm shows your video to the wrong audience first, you don't just lose views, you lose distribution. But don't worry, in the next section, I'm going to explain how you can make sure that doesn't happen with you. Now, with that in mind, let's talk about the 8 algorithm shifts that explain what's actually happening on YouTube. Starting with the most important change. 1. YouTube no longer ranks keywords. There was a time when YouTube ranked videos based on keywords, but now it ranks videos based on understanding. In the past, you could optimize the title, add the right tags, and rely on search to do the heavy lifting. But that's not how the system works anymore. Today, YouTube uses AI to listen to your video. It transcribes what you say and looks for patterns, context, and clarity. In other words, it doesn't just read your title. It tries to understand who the video is for. And this is where that earlier question comes back, because this is how you can influence who YouTube tests your video on. That first test group is chosen based on what YouTube thinks your video is about and who it believes would benefit from it. If your message is vague or you're trying to speak to too many people at once, the system guesses. And when the algorithm guesses, your video often gets tested on the wrong audience. However, when your message is clear, specific, and consistent, especially in the first part of the video, YouTube knows exactly who to show it to. That's why niche business channels perform so well here. Because when you clearly articulate the problem you solve, YouTube doesn't have to guess. It matches your video with the right people from the very first test. And once you pass that test, distribution compounds. So it really comes down to 2 things. First, your message, what you're actually saying in the video. And second, the transcription, what YouTube understands you're saying. Most of the time, YouTube gets this right, but when it doesn't, small errors can create big mismatches. A single mistranscribed word can change how the system categorizes your video and who it decides to test with. That's why I always advise our clients to double check their auto-generated captions and fix any spelling before publishing, or just upload their transcript directly, because clarity isn't just for the viewers anymore. It's how the algorithm decides whether your video deserves to be published or not. 2. Keeping the viewer matters more than ever. Once your video gets tested in front of the right people, the next thing YouTube watches is what they do after the click. Getting the click isn't the hard part anymore. Anyone can write a decent title and design a clickable thumbnail. What actually matters is whether the video delivers on the promise. If viewers click and immediately leave, YouTube reads that as a mismatch. And this is where a lot of business channels struggle. They try to sound impressive, they open broad, they take too long to get to the point, or even worse, they skip the hook altogether. Thus, the viewer loses interest immediately. because these people don't browse for entertainment. They're trying to find a solution to their problems. And when your intro answers that clearly, people stay. And when people stay, YouTube keeps pushing the video. This is why clarity beats creativity for B2B channels. Clear structure, clear problem, clear outcome. Because according to the latest shifts, retention isn't just a watch time metric anymore. It's proof that the right person found the right video at the right time. And that signal is far more powerful than any click you can manufacture. 3. Relevance now beats reach. Once YouTube sees that the right people are clicking and staying, the next metric it looks at is relevance. The platform would rather show your video to a small group of people who watch it deeply than a massive audience that barely watches. This has led to a ton of creators complaining about view drops right now. A lot of channels used to get hundreds of thousands of views by being broadly interesting to a very wide audience. But now if a large portion of that audience clicks, watches briefly, and then moves on, YouTube sees the video as less relevant and impressions start to go down gradually. For business channels, this is a huge advantage because niche content doesn't try to attract everyone. It speaks directly to one industry, one role, one problem. That specificity sends a much stronger signal than broad appeal ever could. Fewer views, but longer watch time. Lower clicks, but higher completion rates. 4. Subscribers don't build trust. Repeated exposure does. For a long time, subscribers were treated as the ultimate metric. More subscribers meant more authority, more reach, and more trust. But that's no longer how things work. YouTube has realized that people don't build confidence from clicking a button. They build it from repeated exposure, from seeing the same person come back to a channel over and over and over again every time they publish a video. That's why you'll notice that now a channel with fewer subscribers but stronger repeat viewership gets more consistent distribution than a large channel with a disengaged audience. And this mirrors real B2B buying behavior. People don't hire you after one video. They hire you after seeing you show up multiple times, explaining things in a way that makes sense to them. So, when YouTube sees viewers coming back to your channel again and again, that's another signal for trust. And that's why repeated exposure has quietly become one of the strongest advantages niche business channels have in 2026. Quick recap. So far, we have gone over 4 main shifts in the YouTube algorithm. 1, YouTube decides who sees your video based on how clearly it understands who it's for. 2, clicks don't matter if the right people don't stay and watch. 3, smaller, more relevant audiences now outperform massive disengaged ones. And 4, trust isn't built from subscriptions. It's built when the same people keep coming back. And the next 4 shifts are even more important because they explain how YouTube decides which channels get momentum long after the first click. 5, YouTube promotes viewing sessions, not individual videos. At this point, YouTube isn't just evaluating your video. It's evaluating what happens after the video. So if someone watches one video and then leaves, that's okay. But if they watch one video and then choose another one of yours, that's a powerful signal. Because viewing sessions matter more than a single view. Understand it like this. Retention is more important than clicks. Clicks are more important than impressions. And viewing sessions matter more than all of them. And it's relatively easier to do in B2B. For example, if one of your videos is solving a problem, and then the next video talks about how to make sure this problem doesn't happen again, it will attract that same viewer twice. This way, if you smartly funnel your content with problems and solutions, people keep watching and the algorithm reads that as value. Number 6, clear problem solving outperforms entertainment for business channels. A lot of people think they need to be more entertaining on YouTube, and that's because YouTube has been seen as an entertainment platform until the past 5 years. But if you're a business channel, that's not what your audience is looking for. Business viewers aren't watching to be entertained. They're watching to be educated. They want clarity. They want answers. They want to know they're in the right place. So when a video clearly explains a problem, shows a path forward, people stay and they associate you as someone who can help them solve problems they care about. And when you keep showing up, you become the go-to expert who, whenever they're ready to buy or invest, you will be their first thought. So no, they don't need jokes or fancy visuals in your video. Number 7, posting more is no longer the advantage. And for the longest time, this was the advice. Post more, be consistent, stay visible. And although it's still relevant to some extent, posting more isn't what creates momentum anymore. YouTube no longer rewards volume. If you post often, but each video talks about something different, the algorithm will struggle to understand your channel. And you know the drill. Now, that being said, you can't spray and pray either. In B2B, consistency is important not for the algorithm, but for your target audience. Posting a few times a month with a proper strategy builds familiarity and trust over time, and that eventually leads to your ICP spending more time on your channel, consuming your content. Which brings us to the last point. 8, engagement is no longer optional. It's one of the clearest signals YouTube uses to decide whether your content actually hits the mark or not. When someone likes a video, leaves a comment, or even replies to another comment, it tells YouTube your content was worth it. And beyond that, YouTube rewards content that keeps people on the platform longer. So encouraging people to like and comment are not vague tactics. Think of it like whenever someone engages with your content and stays longer, YouTube takes your channel a little bit more seriously. The more consistent those signals are, the easier it becomes for the platform to match your videos with the right people. Over time, your videos get tested with better audiences, distribution becomes more predictable, and each new upload starts stronger than the last. So you're not starting from zero every time you post. So if you zoom out, none of these changes are necessarily bad news for business owners. If you're clear about who you help, what problem you solve, and how your videos connect with your ideal audience, the algorithm is actually going to favor your growth. And if you want to learn how to segment your content in a way that keeps people watching, check out this video where I break down the 3-step YouTube funnel every B2B business needs. See you on the next one.